can be duplicated. And then for Sereniel's case, we are left with homing lasers as well as cobalt light and pale shooting stars, which are the ones that could be duplicated. So there's a total of 7 cards, and out of the 7 cards, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 out of 7 that we want. So there's a very high chance that we will be able to get our desired duplicated card, either homing laser or pale shooting star. Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this Chaos Zero Nightmare video. So for this Chaos Zero Nightmare video, we're going to talk about the updated Lab Zero farming guide from yesterday's video because there's quite a few comments asking for it. So we discussed about the meta Great Wave theme and break down the different cards you want to look out for, the items, the units, as well as the rationale for the deck building. So in today's video, we're going to talk about Lab Zero, how you want to optimize your farm, as well as the teams you can use and the different caveats for farming. So first of all, starting off, we will discuss about the events you want to look out for. So if you don't encounter some of these events, just reset your runs because yeah, your deck building, right? If you don't get some of these deck building events, then your whole deck building experience will be number 1, either not that good, or number 2, will be a lot tougher as you move into the later parts. Okay, so the first event that you definitely want to have encountered will be the Remnants of Failure. So you need this event because you want to convert one of the cards from your units that you're trying to farm into the mutant sample. So this card disappears at the end of the run without any points deficit. So this allows you to actually remove more basic cards, or you can use it to actually remove certain cards that could be duplicated, so that you have a higher chance to get the exact duplications you want. So the application for this card is pretty multifaceted, but in most cases I'll use it to convert one of my farming units basic cards into the mutant sample so that it gets removed and I don't get the card removal deficit. So this is the event which you must encounter for farming. If you don't encounter it, just reset your run. Okay, so the next event that you want to encounter would be self-enroachment. So you can only get one of the self-enroachment from the common or the rare event. So this event gives you 1 card removal for free. So remove 1 card has a lower chance of that unit's card to be duplicated. So you can have a easier or more accurate duplication process. So that's number 1. Okay. Another event you want to encounter is a mouthful, because this allows you to remove 2 cards. So if you encounter self-enroachment as well as a mouthful and also your Remnants of Failure, then you can effectively, number 1, convert 1 basic cards or remove 1 duplicatable card plus 3 card removal. So you have a much more pinpoint precision in your card duplication. However, do take note that a mouthful usually the last few question marks. So what happens is Dimensional Tunnel is also something that often appears in the last few dungeons as well. So in most cases, there's a chance you can encounter all 3 events plus Dimensional Tunnel so that you can get your forbidden cards. But let's say if you want to encounter these 3 events which I mentioned with great consistency, then skip the Dimensional Tunnel. So that's with regards to the 3 events to look out for the external side. Okay, so the external events in general, I think I'll go through Cleaner of Passion. So this is actually really good for you to get your administrative ID badge over here. So if your team is strong enough, then attack the admin so that you get some credits as well as the ID badge. So this ID badge can be put onto your support so that you can survive better and ensure that you clear the run, so that you can actually have double duplicates or even like double or triple boss fights. So that's with regards to this one. Good to have, but if you don't have it, it's fine as long as your team can survive. Echoing Cannon can be pretty decent at certain times because you want to have certain units to gain Epiphany so that you can duplicate the cards before the first boss fight. So this is for the external side. This is dependent. So these are all the dependent ones. They can be good in certain situations and not so good in others. But generally speaking, in the first round, these are some of the events you want to go through so that you're able to actually get the duplication side going. So that's for external. So for the other events, if you are going for the lesser credit deficit, then you want to go for your credit gaining selection for the other quests like Guardians of Boundary or even your Manager's Record. So this gives you a lot of credits in case you're doing those minus 60% or 70% credit for your safe data farming. So that's for all the different external events. Now moving on to the internal side. So for the internal side, there's no like must-haves. I think there is this one must-have, and that would be Heart of the Ore Vein for most of the Great Wave units that you're trying to farm. So like the Great Wave units are Sereniel, Selena as well as Nia. So they are the units which need some duplication. So you want to encounter this Heart of the Ore Vein, be it the common or the rare one, to get your cut copy going. So there's this cut copy select, there's also this cut copy random. So if you actually encountered the 2 card removal events together with the cut transform event in the exterior side, in the interior dungeon, even if you get the common Heart of the Ore Vein, it is actually still quite easy for you to get the desired duplication going, because the units that we'll be running, they have a lot of unique tags. So this allows you to pinpoint the duplication site. So that's with regards to Heart of the Ore Vein. So that's for the internal events. The rest of the other events will be dependent on whether or not you have gotten all the epiphanies, whether or not you get your desired cards, as well as equipments. So for the DPS side, some equipments that are insanely good. Number 1 would be this one over here, not this one. This one, right? So this is Wings of Freedom, which gives you increased damage amount when you're hit by the opponent. So if you're hit by the boss in Great Rift, you get more damage for your carries. But for the equipment armor side, I think most of the carries are running the plasma armor. So that gives you some shield when you exhaust some cards. And then you can also go for this for your support, so that you get additional draw and damage reduction at the start of the battle to start your combo. So that's for Rocket Adorn Cat. So these are the few events to look out for. So for the other Divine Epiphany triggering events itself, just go for it depending on whether or not you need those Divine or your Epiphany upgrades. So that's with regards to the interior side. So that's for the puffing as well as the events that you want to look out for. If you don't get them, or if you get like undesirable results of all these events, then reset your run to save your time. So with regards to the difficulty side, I think it's pretty much the same as the previous run. So minimally tier 12 with some debuffs that you can accept as you clear through the Chaos Dungeon. So for the team building side, Sereniel is an insanely flexible unit. So for myself, when I am farming for Sereniel, I will actually team her with Mika as well as Veronica. So for this team, the idea is simple, because Veronica right here has 2 cards which are guaranteed unique. So Bombardment Pred as well as Firing Preparation. And then for Pendant of Resolution, you can actually go for the unique upgrade of Pendant of Resolution. So you have 3 cards with the unique tag. So for Veronica's case, if you're farming for Sereniel or any other carry units in general, or any other units in general, you want to remove Sir Kowalski as well as Repose while having all the other cards on the unique tag. So the second unit that I go with Sereniel is Mika. So Mika is there to ensure that I'm able to survive the run and then finish the second boss fight. So in this case, Mika has Deluge, which is a unique tag. And then we can remove Whirlpool as well as Technical Analysis. And if your team is really strong, even Blessings of Waves, so that you have 5 cards removed from Mika as well as Veronica, such that you can go for the desired duplication on Sereniel right here. So that's for Mika as well as Veronica. So for Sereniel's case, if you're farming Sereniel, then Shining Core, Unique Initiation is the one that you want to go for, because this makes your run a lot easier, and this allows you to duplicate other cards more, I'll say like consistently. So that's for Shining Core. And then for the Plasma Missile, depending on the build that you're farming, you go for your desired Plasma Missile build. But if you're using Sereniel as a carry for farming, then you want to go for the unique tech one as well. So that's for Sereniel. If you're farming her, then choose the Plasma Missile Epiphany based on your personal needs. But if you're using Sereniel as a carry to carry your other units for the card farming side, then you want to go for the unique upgrade on Plasma Missile as well as your Shining Core. So that's the general idea. So this is for Sereniel. She's insanely flexible. You can use her as the main carry, or you can use her as a unit to farm for other units duplication. So next one, we talk about Selena. Selena is a little bit special because she has this tactical maneuver upgrade, which is insanely good when you pair her with Sereniel. But outside of the synergy with Sereniel, she's actually quite hard to run in the Chaos Dungeon with other units, because if you want to remove all the other useful cards from other units that can carry you and duplicate this one, you might not have enough damage to actually push through all the tougher fights. So this is where you might struggle with Selena if you're not running her with Sereniel. So for Selena's case, what I would suggest is run Sereniel, Selena as well as Mika, because Mika can give you some heal, and then you can safely farm for Selena's duplicates as well as your desired epiphanies. If your Sereniel is insanely stacked up, if your Selena's insanely stacked up, then what you can do is take out Mika and then use Veronica, because Veronica has more unique cards, so you can remove lesser duplicates, and then you still have a higher chance of duplicating tactical maneuver. So this will be the few team ideas. But if let's say you don't have Mika or Veronica built up, then Sereniel Selena plus 1 sustain unit, like for example, I think a Shielder or a sustain unit can actually work, because Selena plus Sereniel, if you have them built up, can easily push through the stage. So the last slot is dependent on who you have built up for sustain, so that you can survive your run. But for Selena's case, because her deck is not very Forbidden card dependent, it's actually quite easy to skip the Dimensional Tunnel and then get all the triple card removal plus the Mutant Sample. So you want to remove Engagement Fire by the end of the run, and then you want to convert the Emergency Shielding into Mutant Sample. So you just have high powered scope, target spotted, drone bombing, tactical maneuver duplicated with Sniper Domain for Selena. So she will be a little bit more challenging because she's not very synergistic with other units. So if you don't have Sereniel, another build I can suggest is just run her with Veronica right here. So the reason why you want to run her with Veronica is simple, because Veronica is a really good deck building unit. And she's also decently synergistic with Selena, because they do have some passion bonus going on in Selena's kit. So there is this synergy, and you can use your Veronica as the main carry. So for my main carries, I would recommend you to get them to level 60 so that they're able to survive better and output more damage. So if you're using Veronica as your main carry, build up her memory fragments, right? Build up her potential so that she can carry the other units. So for Selena's case, I don't have her built up on the potential side yet. Memory fragment, I'm just using a random memory fragment right here, as you guys can see. So the carries are the ones that need a proper setup for their memory fragments as well as their potential. So this is for units you are trying to use as your main carry. So that's for Selena as well as Sereniel. But in most cases, if you have Sereniel, then I think Sereniel plus Selena is an easy clear for the dungeon parts. So that's with regards to Selena. Last but not least, for Cassius, this is a very tough unit to run if you don't have him built up. For my Cassius farming, I actually run him with Sereniel and Veronica, because my Cassius is used as the support healer before we complete the build on Popeye, Popper and Dice Trick. So for my Cassius, I run him with these two units, and then I will remove wildcard as well as convert cards to Mutant Sample while keeping mana field. So this will be my heal. And for Popeye Popper, because we are going for the choose one quest, we can go for 111 so that we get the damage and the heal. So these are the few heal sources together with our DPSs in Veronica and Sereniel. And then we will look out for our desired epiphany upgrades and duplications for this unit. So that's with regards to Cassius. So you need a very developed carry so that you can run Cassius with them. But you can easily run Cassius with Mika and Sereniel, because Sereniel alone can carry the fight. So if you want an easier way out, then Sereniel, Mika and Cassius, right? If you want a more easier duplication process, then Veronica, Sereniel and Cassius if you have them built up. So that's for Cassius. With regards to the other carries that you can use, let's say if you don't have Sereniel and Veronica, to be really fair, for Sereniel's case, she's the carry, right? So if you're farming her, then she will be the main unit that you're running for your Chaos carry slot. But let's say if you don't have her and you want to farm for Cassius and Selena, Chizuru is an okay option if you have her developed. So I personally am not a big fan for Chizuru, but she does have a unique tag inbound that does, so that helps with the duplication process. And her kit allows her to generate the Shadow of the Moon card, which has damage as well as heal. So she's a good DPS with some sustain for the team so they can clear the run. So that's for Chizuru. You can use her as a main carry if you have her developed. Trezza is not a very strong unit to carry the weaker units, so I wouldn't recommend her, because Trezza needs the correct epiphanies as well as the correct teammates to like mega carry you, so she's not that strong as a main carry. Haru as well, not that strong. I think Renoa is fine if you get the correct epiphanies and you have her developed, so she can be used as a main carry. Maylin will be very combo centric, so not very stable as well, but Maylin with Selena has passion combo, so if you have your Maylin developed, you can use her as the main carry. So that's with regards to the few main carry options. Chizuru is okay, Maylin's okay, I think Renoa is also okay. Yeah, so as long as your main carry is strong enough to clear the run, even without the synergy of other units, you can run them as your main carry. For the support slot, I think most of you guys should have Mika. If you really don't want to use Mika, then another unit for the support slot you can use is Nia. But Nia is very unstable on the heal portion, which is why I wouldn't recommend her. But if your carry is strong enough, you can also run Ray, because Ray right here is a booster with very little heals, but she has the unique tag as well. So if you can just push the fight fast enough so that your opponent don't hit you, then this is where running Ray to boost your carry so that you can finish the fight ASAP is also a viable option for the support side. So that's with regards to the different teammates and units I'm running, as well as recommend to the players to farm for lap 0. Okay guys, so this happened after I recorded the previous part. So we are at the final shop before we enter the boss fight. So this is the most ideal situation that you want for your duplication. So we have a really sick equipment right here for our Sereniel. And then if you take a look at my units, Mika has all the cards removed except for Source of Water as well as the base cards and the large. So Mika only has Source of Water, which can be duplicated. And then we have Veronica right here with 3 unique tags. So we remove the Kowalski. We're left with Repose right here, which can be duplicated. And then for Sereno's case, we are left with Homing Lasers as well as Cobalt Light and Pale Shooting Stars, which are the ones that could be duplicated. So there's a total of 7 cards. And out of the 7 cards, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 out of 7 that we want. So there's a very high chance that we will be able to get our desired duplicated card, either Homing Laser or Pale Shooting Star. So Pale Shooting Star for this specific build-up is insane as well, because we have a lot of ways to generate lasers from Cobalt Light as well as from Shining Core right here. So Pale Shooting Star will be able to activate 5 homing laser, which will include our insanely sick homing laser with 1 AP right here. So we have a lot of AP to play with, but we are at 120 points, so I'm probably not going to buy any more cards because that will actually overload my deck. So what will happen is we'll go into boss fight and then try to replicate at least either Homing Laser or Pale Shooting Star for this run, okay? So the last final shop right here, let's see. I don't have the Discord site, so I think for this part, we are just maybe aiming for equipments to ensure that we survive. Yeah, because like we are pretty much done in terms of our build up. So in this case, let's go with this to just survive a little bit better. Okay, so the remaining goal is basically like useless because we're not going to buy any more cards because our film memory is very close to the limit. So we don't want the 1 AP to be wasted. So let's go into the final boss fight and then see what we get duplicated to finish our Sereniel deck right here. Okay, so for this part, we have, okay, pretty good start. So we just use our upgrades and initiation cards right here. Okay. Okay, so that's for the first turn. So right now, I think in most cases is basically a really powerful unit both for Chaos as well as general contents, because she's able to generate so much damage and also have this unit tag which allows you to duplicate your desired cards better. Okay, Source of Water. We'll get Peko skill up so that we are able to finish the boss when we crit. So the only drawback for this deck is that we don't have the constant move back of the cards for the homing missile every single turn. But if we do get this Pale Shooting Star right here, then we'll be able to consistently activate it to get our 3 APs. Really nice. Then if we get the Ravage, we get this multiplied hits over here, which is massive damage. So let's see how it goes. AP is like the most important stuff that could happen here. So this is like a really desired build in my honest deck. Okay, so we activate this. So right here, we have 2 AP. So this Pale Shooting Star is really sick because I'm going to gain AP by using this. Okay, boom. Okay, so we actually gain AP. Insane stuff. Okay, we're not gonna ravage the boss here, so let's move on. So when combined with Selena is gonna be really sick. Yeah, so let's go. Okay, we're just gonna ravage the boss and bring all our missiles back. So it comes back to our hand. Okay, we're gonna use it. We're gonna gain 1 AP. We're gonna gain one more AP. So we actually gain AP by playing the card. So sick. Okay, let's see what we get duplicated here. So this will be the final duplication. Okay, so we have Cobalt Light, Homing Laser as well as a Source of Water. Cobalt Light, unfortunately, is not a really good card, so we just go with Homing Laser duplicate. Okay. The equipment side, we have an insanely powerful equipment setup already. So right here, we are not going to use it. We're just going to extract it because it's the end of the run. So for this one, nope, nothing that I want. So I just have to work on the equipment side for my Sereniel. So just a final check for the score. Oh my god, we actually exceeded, guys. Oh no, this is bad. We might be getting one cut back. Yeah, we might get it. So we will take a look at that. I unfortunately miscalculated the fourth card duplication. So I think the fourth card duplication with Divine is much more than I expected. So it was a 50 points duplication, guys. Yeah, so that's why I didn't buy any cards earlier, because like I wanted the 4-card homing missile or the pale shooting star. So let's see what's the deck build up. At least we got an insane equipment right here. Okay, unfortunately, we got one Pulse Fire back, but we still got our 1 AP copies on our homing missile right here, which is, I think, more than sufficient. So we're going to focus on the build out of other units for our Great Wave battle right here. And yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. I kind of don't want this Pulse Fire, but having that 1 additional damage with 1 homing laser L generation might not be a bad thing. So we shall see how it goes, but pretty sick stuff right here. So that's it for this Chaos Dungeon guide for all the units for the Great Wave battles itself. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys again in my next video.